€100,000, €59,000 to be precise, to the winner. And here are the runners and riders, as they say. Number 1 is trained by Edward O'Grady. It's Allardyce. The amount of Paul Cawley claiming the £7. 2 is Ballyegan Warrior. Declan Queally claiming the 3. 4 is Brelad, the gelding by Presenting. The 9-2 shot or thereabouts, the amount of Jamie Cott. 4 is Chris's Dream, is Maxine O'Sullivan claiming the £7, daughter of Eugene O'Sullivan. 5 is Coeur de Lion, back this morning at big prices for the Kinsale trainer Robert Tyner. Aboard is Barry O'Neill. 6 doesn't run, James Motherway's Credo Vivo. 7 is Dear Sire, is the amount of Stephen Crawford. 8 Getaway Kid, Roger Quinlan. 9 Guitar George is a David Roach. 10 is the well-fancied Hardline, Luke McGuinness taking 7 off the Gordon Elliott runner. 11 is the very warm favourite Jenkins by Azamore, this horse, and trained by Nicky Henderson. The mount of Patrick Mullins cost 60,000 at the sales. 12 is Loop Garou, the gelding by Marteline for Jessica Harrington and owner Dermot Horgan. 42,000 at the sales. Steering would be Katie Harrington. 13 Moulin Avant is the mount of Nina Cabri. 14 Ocean Explorer Finney Maguire. 15 Run for Bob Johnny King. 16 Ali Ambrosio, named after the model, of course, Katie Walsh riding for Jessica. And 17 Rain in Spain, the full sister of Henry Higgins, is the mount of Jane Mangan. And the trainer Gordon Elliott, he might point us in the right direction. He's got a couple of representatives, including the well-fancied Hardline, number 10, Tracy.
Yes, certainly is, and great to catch up here with Gordon. Just quickly before we talk about your 2, Don Cossack.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate.
We're going to miss him.
Yeah, legally problem on Sunday morning, but this will just take a pull of them and hopefully have him back for the Gold Cup next year. But
the joys of training.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if it happened a week before Cheltenham, it would be a different story, but we just have to take it on the chin and look forward to the next day.
Let's talk about these 2. You're presenting gelding there, Brelad, second on his debut, promising.
Yeah, nice horse. Like, he's going to be a lovely horse for the future, whatever he does today, but we like him and I think he'll run a good race.
And then we've got Hardline. 1 is point to point, and he's got a bit of speed about him.
Very fast horse. He could be horse with Summer's Grass is going to be better, but he's got an awful lot of speed. There won't be many travelling better than him turning in. Just whether he gets home from there, time will tell.
Hot race as usual.
It's a good race, great prize money, sure, it's great, isn't it?
Good luck to you, Gordon. We'll be talking to you again, I'm sure. Thank you very much.
Yes, always forthright with his opinions, of course. The trainer of the Gold Cup winner, Don Cossack, Tom Lee. He's got 2 very strong runners in this race, but there's lots of confidence behind Jenkins, and also the Hardline, the Marteline horse, also coming in for good support here in the ring.
Yeah, Hardline's the fascinating one. Only 9 of the 16 that we're left with have got any experience under rules, some of it quite underwhelming. Hardline, you get the impression, this Bush Telegraph, the whispers around the racecourse suggest he could run very, very well, and Gordon not doing anything to put us off just then with Tracy. However, this Jenkins, we should deal with him, because even at even money they've been coming in for him in the ring. 2nd of April he made his racecourse debut in a 15-horse race at Newbury. David Bass rode him. He cruised around for a circuit and a half, and then when he just gave him a little shake of the reins, whoosh, off he went. 9 lengths the margin of victory. He looked very, very sharp. They're already talking about him possibly as a Supreme Novices hurdle horse next year. He'll need to be winning with the authority against some potentially sharp types, and it might not appeal to a lot of people at home coming in and backing him perhaps 10 to 11, 4 to 5. I see over our shoulder Ladbrokes momentarily went even money. That got taken. Such is the confidence behind Jenkins. Of course, Nicky Henderson, a brilliant Cheltenham he had, and Simonsig's just run a mighty race for him there as well. But at a working man's price, you get the impression perhaps Hardline, who was backed at 6 to 1 into 5 to 1 earlier today, could be the each way horse of the race at least.
Well, that's interesting, but Jenkins is the one that all the money's for, and here he is, and he's the mount of Patrick Mullins. Patrick has been snapped up for him. He cost 60,000 at the Land Rover last year. He came up from Peter Maloney's stud. Looked really good, as we've said, when he won it at Newbury. Bags of pace. There's number 3 there. There's Brelade.
That's Brelade. Brelade had a nice run, first time up behind Egan, Colorado, at Leopardstown. Nice run for Gordon as well, too, and Nina on board. Him with a big shout.
10 we see is Hardline. We've heard from Gordon Elliott, and he's got a big chance. He cost plenty, this fella, 155,000 at the sale. Very interesting indeed. He's had the 1 run. That was in a point-to-point here, 3-runner race, and the runner-up has since won. He won the race, and the runner-up has since won, so that's pretty good. Number 13, Ted, that's Moulin Avant.
Yeah, Moulin Avant, the Sagamix horse. Noel Meade trains this one. Nina on board there, Moulin Avant. And Nina always rides for Noel. She'll retain stable. I just wonder how she would rate the one that she got off of to ride Brie Lade with this horse. She rode him the first time he ran for Gordon at Leopardstown. Jamie Coddenboard today.
Luke Garou we're looking at here, and one of Jesse Harrington's runners, and anything that Jesse trains you ought to have a second look at here. Her daughter Kate riding, the son of Matinali. And there's a number of them here. There's Allardyce we haven't got a look at, who was runner-up well clear of the third, a really promising run and a bumper at Limerick earlier on in the month or last month. And we've got the Moulin Avou that we've already talked about. There's several here in with chances, and it's very, very interesting. It's a race that's thrown up some good winners in the past. Hardy Eustace was a graduate, so was Central House, New Mill, Glencove Marina last year, with Petit Mouchoir was the winner. Allardyce 20-1. Paul Carley riding.
Just goes to show you how hard it is to buy a horse that turns out to be a racehorse. Only 17 of them lining up here when you think of all the horses that went through the ring. 2 fillies, Ale Ambrosia and Rain in Spain. Like the people who were buying these horses would have had a choice of maybe 200, 300.
Sure.
300, 2 days sale.
Tom Lee, how are they betting? Still this warm favourite?
Yeah, very warm favourite. 4-5 Jenkins, Brelad and Hardline for Gordon Elliott, 5-1 each of 2. The one we didn't mention at big prices, backed at big odds, 33-40-1 this morning, into 22-1 now. Number 5 Coeur de Lion for Robert Tyner has been jumping hurdles on heavy ground, could take a step forward on this better spring ground this afternoon. And just fascinating that despite there being no form to speak of in those 2 shows over hurdles, this money is around for a very, very shrewd stable. They don't often leave the cash in the satchel, and Coeur de Lion back this morning. Brian, anything else you fancy?
A few quid in the ring as well for the Marteline gelding in the hands of Katie Harrington. Luke Garou, that's number 12, cost 42,000 at Goffs last June. One of 2 in the race for Jessica Harrington. She's also got number 16, Ali Ambrosio, the filly by Big Bad Bob, of course, who we lost during the week at the Irish National, stud in the colours of Rob Cortonio here. What do you like?
Well,
it's Richard Pugh, isn't it?
It is, yes. I'm a big Hardline fan. I stood right here to call him to win his point-to-point, and he showed a lot of speed that day. They went no gallop for a long way. He showed an awful lot of speed. The runner-up came out and won next time and cost 225,000 afterwards. So if whatever beats Hardline will win, he needs to stay. He's a very sharp, fast horse, as Gordon said, but if he stays, he wins. He's the family of Fickle Fortune. He's the family of the Game Changer, all 2-milers, Spirit Leader. That's my man. They're all 2-milers, but the 7-1 I got last night, I'm pretty happy about at the moment. I wouldn't swap it, but Jenkins has to be respected as well. They're just walking forward, not long before they get underway. Just the one non-runner here. 17 go to post. Number 6 Credo Vivo, the only absentee, and our starter just asking them to walk steadily forward. 16 of them, and plenty of them are going to want to be handy here. The one that's lining up closest is Guitar George, a Westerner for the Henry de Bromhead team. He's from a great old page. Simon, Black Humour, Gay Chance. He's a good old pedigree. This fella might be a nice chaser in the future, but I think the starter will be happy enough. There's nobody wanting to rush the tape at this stage. They're forming an orderly line. That red button will denote when we're off and running for the 2016 Goffs Land Rover bumper. Moving avant a little bit side onto the tape. Walking steadily forward. That's it. We're good to go and racing in the 2016 Goffs Land Rover bumper. Run for Bob and Brie Lade are prominent with Luke Garou down the inside as they try to settle into something of racing order. Chris's Dream goes on now. Mount of Maxine O'Sullivan takes them through the opening stages. So Chris's Dream takes the advantage over on the near side as they head through the opening stages. Is Guitar George. Jenkins is prominent on the inside. Right up there too is Moulin Avant and Run for Bob. Brelade is in mid-division with Hardline on his inside. Luke Garou is in between that pair, and Allardyce is on the near side. Further back to Ocean Explorer, who's on the inside of the red jack, and that's Ballyegan Warrior. Further back behind these to Ali Ambrosia, then Coeur de Lion. Next up behind these is Rain in Spain. Getaway Kid is last but one, and Dear Sire is the back marker. So they head up to the end of the straight and begin to swing right-handed away from the stands, and as they do so, it's Chris's Dream who leads from its second spot. Guitar George. Jenkins is close third on the inside, and they're being chased in 4 by Hardline, and then comes on the outside of this one Run for Bob. Moulin Avant is next, and they're being chased by Ocean Explorer, who's just sitting in behind the leading group. Further back to Brie Lade, who's next. This one's being chased by Luke Garou, and then Ballyegan Warrior. Coeur de Lion is on the inside of Ali Ambrosia. Rain in Spain disputes the back spot with Getaway Kid, and on the inside Dear Sire. Heading now along the descent, running, continuing to go away from the stands, and in front it's Chris's Dream, who leads by about 3 to Jenkins on the inside of Guitar George. Chris's Dream, Maxine O'Sullivan, Jenkins, Patrick Mullins, Guitar George on the near side is Davy Roach, then Luke McGuinness and the Jigginstown Silks aboard Brelade. Run for Bob is just behind them, this one sitting about 5th, the mount of Johnny King, and they're being followed by Allardyce and Paul Cawley. Just ahead of that one's Moulin Avant and Nina Carberry. Brelade and Jamie Codd just inside them. Luke Garou, the grey mid-division green jacket, Kate Harrington rides this one as they head now to make their way into the back straight. Chris's Dream by 4 to 5 lengths to Jenkins racing in second. Guitar George is third, being followed in 4 by Hard Line. Then comes Run for Bob, Moulin Avant, Ocean Explorer and Belade. Allardyce is next, and back behind these is the grey Luke Garou. Then comes Coeur de Leon, who's next. Ali Ambrosius just behind them. Further back to Dear Sire, who's trying to pick up a position at the expense of Getaway Kid, and Rain in Spain and Jane Mangan watching all of the action from the back spot as they continue right across from the stands. And Chris's Dream, this brother to Scorpiancer, who won the champion hurdle out in America, being followed in second by Guitar George, family of Simon and Gay Chance. They're being chased in third by Jenkins. His pedigree goes back to a lamb sharp. Plenty of speed there towards the outside. Allardyce, Moulin Avant, Hard Line, won his point to point at this track. He's back for the bumper. They're being followed on the inside by Run for Bob. Brelade, who is second, Aspen, Colorado, has plenty of cover. The one that's getting reminders at the back is Rain in Spain as they begin now to make their way out of the back straight. Chris's Dream, Jenkins, Guitar George, Hardline gets closer. Run for Bob the inside. Moulin Avant trying to pick up. Brelade is getting very much involved. Allardyce has to come wide. Moulin Avant got through the gap there. Coeur de Leon is getting involved as well as they race their way along the side of the course now, and Chris's Dream leads from Jenkins, who travels strongly, as does Hardline. Brelade gets a lead from them. Moulin Avant's a little wider out the grey. Allardyce is wider again. Coeur de Leon in the black jackets right behind them. Ali Ambrosia is not out of it. Chris's Dream has now given best as trying to get through on his outside is Brelade, but Jenkins takes over from Hardline. The two at the head of the market head affairs now. Moulin Avant travels strongly on their outside. Brelade is on the inner with Coeur de Leon. Run for Bob's drop back. Allardyce is right there. Ali Ambrosia, and they go on Formation Explorer, beginning to swing in now, and it's Jenkins who leads them in from Moulin Avant in second. Brelade goes through on the inside. Hardline drops very quickly out as they straighten up now, and it's Jenkins who's travelling very strongly under Patrick Mullins. Brelade and Moulin Avant are trying to come at him now on the outside. They're being followed wider again by Coeur de Leon, who's trying to get into it, but it's Jenkins who has first run. Coeur de Leon staying on strongly on the near side. Moulin Avant and Brelade are ridden, but Jenkins has it by 3 to 4 from in second spot. Coeur de Leon and Barry O'Neill trying to reel him in, but it's Jenkins and Patrick Mullins who lead by a couple of lengths. Coeur de Leon is rallying the near side. Jenkins picks up again. Coeur de Leon comes right back at him on the near side, and Coeur de Leon gets up just in time for Barry O'Neill and Robert Tyner. In second as Jenkins looked to have it a half a furlong down, didn't quite see it out. Moulin Avant third in front of Brelade, Ali Ambrosia. They were followed in further back by Allardyce and Run for Bob. Ocean Explorer, Hardlines back behind mid-division in front of Dear Sire and Getaway Kid, and they string out back to Ballyegan Warrior, but it was Coeur de Leon, number 5, owned by Brendan Keogh, who gave $75,000 for him when he bought him from Oak Tree Farm, trained by Robert Tyner, ridden by Barry O'Neill. The unraced dam has bred 3 winners from 7 runners, make that 4 from 8. He was lot 98.
Well, Norman Williamson will be happy as well. Oak Tree Farm is Norman Williamson, famous top-class jockey in his day, rode a lot of Gold Cup and Champion Hurl winner, and himself and Wendy are Oak Tree Farm. They'll be happy if we get a free Land Rover or something. But this horse, Jenkins, looked all over a winner when he turned in here. Patrick just held on to him till he rounded the last bend, presses the button, and he opens up 2 or 3 lengths, and the others try hard behind. I thought he was home and hose for all money, but Robert Tyner's horse under Barry O'Neill, Coeur de Leon, who had 2 runs and 2 bumpers, didn't show anything much in those 2 bumpers, and he picks down on the good ground here. And when Barry gets a couple of cracks into him, he's chasing Jamie Codd in the point-to-point championship at the moment. Here I still thought that Nicky Henderson's horse was going to hang on, but as they run down into the dip, Barry gets another tune out of him, and he wins with his old ears pricked going to the line. He's won snug enough, and he's done it really well. You see him there, and he goes to the line, when he goes by the other horse, and Barry eases down the pressure. He pricks his old ears a bit more in the tank, hard as Patrick tries on the far side. Barry a good strong rider on the near side. A great win for Robert Tyner as well, and as Richard Pugh said, a great success for the man who gets 75 grand from it to sales as well too, because that's a fair old dock to give for a horse 12 months ago, and to come here and win this, great success. Barry's delighted with that, a big race win for him. He's ridden hundreds of point-to-point winners. He's ridden plenty of winners on the track as well too, but he'll appreciate that well. A fine rider, chasing the tails of the likes of Derek O'Connor and Jamie Codd there for the last couple of years. As in his own right, he'll be champion point-to-point rider someday as well too. A fine rider, Barry O'Neill. Rides a lot for Colin Bowe. Rides here for Robert Tyner. Great success for Robert down outside Cork there. Sort of West Cork, not really West Cork, but Upton on down that direction. And a great win for him. Robert, no stranger to big race success, has won many big chases at Leopardstown, the Paddy Power on a few occasions. This man is getting a great kick out of this, Barry O'Neill, Wexford man. This horse by Vaux de Nord, French bred. Obviously Norman must have bought him as a store in France and resold him to Brendan Keogh. There is Robert Tyner. Fine trainer, Robert, with a lot of big race success. Great man to Point of Pine Field, great on the big track as well too. Yeah. And I don't know whether Norman is here, whether he's looking in. If he's probably at the Breeze Up sales in Newmarket this week, but he'll be fairly excited about this anyway. I think they get himself and Wendy get a Jeep.
Yeah, they do. They've got the Land Rover to drive off in, but